Welcome back to the 5th installment of the biggest boss tournament BT6 has ever seen. A tournament to find out who is the king at bossing. To fill you in on the last couple weeks, this is where I stand in my group after 3 rounds of the group stage. The top 4 in each group of 16 advance, and as you can see, I'm currently tied for second in points, so I'm sitting pretty safe. With this being my overall placement between all players for each round. Highly recommend you check out videos of those weeks if you haven't. Round 4 features Elite Vortex on downstream, with the mode being Elite Tiers. It's an overall very simple week because the only ban is Ace Paragon, so it's almost like an official Ninja Kiwi event. A fairly whelming week on paper, however, I realized really quickly that just that one Ace Paragon ban changes a lot. Here's why. Just like Least Cash, you want to work backwards. What beats Tier 5 Vortex first? And I think the Ace Paragon might have fooled me personally for the actual difficulty of Vortex, because I thought Elite Vortex was a piece of cake, one of the easiest bosses to beat. But I guess I'm an Ace Paragon merchant, because even with a high degree solo Paragon, I couldn't find anything that solos it. I figured with least tiers, it kind of has to be a Paragon. It's tier efficient. But I quickly concluded that you probably need 2 Paragons in order to beat Tier 5. D60 NG, not even close. D70 Submarine, not even close either. I figured we could write off these Paragons too because they all require close range to work well. Ninja Paragon ain't saving my ass either this week, not even a degree 80 of all degrees. Bolt also loses a lot of damage if it's not using its main attack, so note that too. After a decent amount of testing, I concluded that the most reasonable 2 Paragon combo to beat Elite Vortex was a degree 40 Engineer and a degree 40 Sub. Ignore the 39, just testing. But this combo works. It's just a matter now of being able to afford these 2. So in this video, you're going to see the absolutely hellish save up, the skimping of so many tiers in order to beat Elite Vortex. We start Geraldo and Gennis NFT on round 7. Yes, again, I am a Geraldo merchant, literally. But when Geraldo isn't banned, he is by far the best hero for least tiers because all of his sub-towers do not count as tiers, so I can use all 16 of those items without worry about worsening my score. In order to farm for those 2 Paragons, I'm of course going to get a farm. This one's going to be a Banana Central by the end. We're able to get through the early game with just 2 shooty turrets, enough so that I can buy my 3-2-0 farm. And now I had to figure out how to use Engineer and Sub as my main DPS to the Paragon, because buying any other tower would be not tier efficient. And so for lead popping, I end up getting a 0-2-0 Sub. Key tipped is really cheap, and that placement is very important to avoid Vortex stun. More on that later. I sell the NFT on the exact same round I'm able to buy a BRF, so now we should be getting close to 2k per round from that. And now, we agreed for our Balloon Trap. Unfortunately, this time, I'm not able to go for the superior 014 trap, the trap that you can target. So that's why we have to place the Engineer all the way on the tippy top, because we want the trap to make the most amount of money. And without cross-pathing, the trap will just drop the closest to where the Engineer is, hence that placement. It might not seem like it, but this is an insane amount of greed, because for Vortex, you kind of need your defense, unlike other bosses, right when he spawns in. Otherwise, you're not going to have the time to break him down because he'll be at the exit by like round 43. And so this is where I figured out that a first strike, if I get it at the start of round 40, is actually enough to solo tier 1. 8 first strikes on each skull. Just notice how close the money is. We barely afford it in the middle of 39, and I don't even have the ability cooled off. So what I did after 10 attempts was to find the best run where I basically had the first strike up at the start of the round. I couldn't get it perfect, just a couple seconds away, but it's good enough. Now, you actually need the reactor in combination with first strike to beat tier 1, so don't mind me as I go for that next over here. It has to be in range of the first strike. We also need to get a shooty turret, otherwise I die to all these ceramics here. That's not very ideal. Okay, now Fertilizer on round 41, and we have to remember to buy it for every 4 rounds afterwards. So remember to do it on 45 and 49. Now, because Vortex, or when a boss is on, auto start is like automatic. You can't turn it off. So I'm basically guaranteed to lose 1 fertilized banana every round because you can't reapply it retroactively, if that makes sense. Second skull now, by the way. So, and because the first crate of a round is instant, yeah, we're gonna have to lose a little bit of money, like under $100 on the start of 45, 49, until the boss is dead. Which is why it's important to kill it quickly. And now let's go for an overclock. We need to continue greeting because we know that this is enough defense for tier 1 now. Third skull now. Just barely out of range of this guy. And get ready. Start of 45. Another fertilizer. And now in the name of greed, we have to buy back our NFT. Thankfully, we'll make enough money from these 3 farming towers that we should afford it, ideally, on around 48. If not, that's an issue. Because the save up to Banana Central while saving tiers is pretty brutal. I can't go for the usual central market into selling for it, or a bridge option. Our best bridge option is sadly the NFT. And also, at the start of round 47 here, what I'm gonna do, because the rounds are hard, is drop a glue. Because every blue behind Vortex is now like 4x speed. So, that's kind of scary if I don't have this thing. But you see with glue now, that's a lot more manageable. First strike's up, but come on. Let's get NFT first, because this is gonna stun. This one's gonna stun Geraldo. And hopefully he gets unstunned so that we can use fertilizer at the start of 49. Waiting. There we go. Perfect timing. You couldn't have written that up any better. Now, round 49 is really hard, so I'm gonna start building some defense for that round. Like a 3-0-0 engineer. This should be enough defense. I lied. This is unfortunately a lot of money, but we have to buy 1 Jerry Fire to defend these ceramics this round. Those ceramics do be zoom in. 1 more first strike, and we should be able to get the last one in time. Round 50 is also going to be very tough because that mob is going to be 4x speed. So that's why we have this. And in order to defend it, we need to buy some more Jerry items. I'm going to try to see what I can skimp out on. But unfortunately, I don't think I can skip on it very much because they're so fast. I guess another JFR 650 and then 1 creepy idol. Please don't make me use glue here. Please don't make me use... Okay, 20 lives lost, 30. Okay, that was probably more than I bargained for. But whatever. If we survive, we survive, and that's the end of that. And look at that. Last second first strike. Unfortunately, I die. I really want to save money, but I don't think I can. Sigh. An extra Jerry glue then, so plus 150. And now if I do everything right, the money should barely be there to get B Central on round 59. So that doesn't leave me a lot of leeway for tier 2. Because as I said earlier, you kind of need your defense immediately. Which is why it shocked me after lots of testing that this strategy actually worked, because it literally came down to the final dollar, as you'll see. With both Jerry Fires expiring this round, beating mobs is a little bit tougher, but thankfully still manageable with, I think, minimal lives lost. As you see, I can just unsubmerge the sub for those rounds and have it come in clutch. Pretty cool. Round 57 is a little bit of a different story. 2 mobs, I'm gonna first strike the first 2. The second 2 here are gonna be a little bit trickier, and I might need to buy some more Jerry items. Let's see. If I can get that first strike ballistic missile to do some good damage. I added 1 shooting turret also to the mix, and looks like that's good. And now, check how close the money is at the start of 59. Overclock this, sell this, and I'm just 2k short. I think it's probably worth it to sell shooting turrets if I need the money a little bit quicker. But let's see how many ticks of Banana Central I lose. So that's 1 crate lost. 2. 3. Okay, sell now. Sell now. Okay, only 3 were B reps. The other 6 this round are going to be big fat Banana Centrals. That's good. Everything is coming into fruition. Now for tier 2, we're going to pull out a non-engineer or sub. This is the only non-engineer or sub tower I'm going to pull off for this tier. And it's necessary, because we're going to get him mad. I'd still need $60,000, but thankfully, I think this should make us enough money that we should afford it in 3 rounds now. The issue is, will Vortex exit in 3 rounds? It won't if we anti-stall it. For those who don't know, anti-stalling means just ending the round as soon as possible so that the next round starts, so that your B Central makes more money in a shorter amount of time. So that's why I'm probably going to end up using a Rocket Storm to end this round off. Let me just wait for all mobs to come out first. I would do Rocket Storm now. I think that's the last Moab. 61, please start. Oh, I lied. I lied, that was still really fast though. And Fertilizer, don't forget. Ending 61 off as well. This first strike splash damage gets both of the Moabs. How sweet is that? Now, I ultimately had to use a Rocky Storm to defend the mobs on the start of 62 here. And then, I'm gonna use a Reju Potion. It is $2,000, but I realized it's actually not a bad investment to make because using the Reju Potion also resets your overclock. So that means I get full uptime on my B Central for one extra cycle, which is actually really, really important because one crate, as you see, is almost $2,000. So that makes up, like, the money that the Reju Potion cost. Now the issue is being able to beat the F-mobs here without adding more. Okay, there we go. We caught the F-mobs over here now, so this should be manageable. 63 is very hard, so it's pretty much a no-brainer to use a Glue Gunner and then have our Rocket Storm focus them. Come on, just beat wave 3 here, and we're good. Round 64 will start, and the money will be there for MAD. There. Got it. Use the ability immediately. Okay, this is pretty poorly played here, this run, because my Fertilizer is not back yet. Geraldo is still stunned, so I lose like 3 crates of not fertilizing, which is really bad. I'll probably redo this run. If I survive though, it's a proof of concept. But as you see, getting mad is a godsend, because now, even though we pop it very late, it's enough time to keep it at bay, while still saving overclock for the BRF over here. Just using the Mad ability, or the Mad Tower, to pop balloons earlier so that we have time to break down the ceramics, because Mad is obviously awful at balloon damage. Anyway, the end. Beat it right at 67, ended with $52,000. Now, I think I could save a couple more thousand if I do things better. Like, for example, I know on round 64, I didn't have overclock for that very short time. So if I change the timing, so I have overclock on, I get 4 extra crates that round. So that's like $8,000. That money, I think, is needed. So I'll see you after I get a money amount I'm satisfied with. So this tier only took 2 tries because I was very satisfied with the money I had after this attempt. I dropped all the way down at 2 lives, but who cares? Because at the end of beating Vortex here, I'm left with $13,000 more than the other attempts. That's an insane amount. I guess round 64 really cost me that first time around, but I took this run. And now back to greeting. We can now afford Ultra Boost thanks to the extra money this round, and so I also make use of my Reju Potions by getting a stack of Ultra Boost faster. So that was pretty neat. And now an added element after getting Ultra Boost is that I should try to stall each round as long as possible. Because the earlier I can get 10 stacks on my B Central, the more money I can ultimately make. And the thing is, with time penalties, it only stops the cooldowns of money-making abilities, not the Ultra Boost. So theoretically, you can get 10x Ultra Boost on everything in a single round if you were able to stall infinitely, which I couldn't, obviously. But I did some light sweating to make sure I would get 10x Ultra Boost on my farm and 10x Ultra Boost on Mad before tier 3. So that basically just involves like turreting Mad away and taking my sweet time at breaking down BFBs, mobs, and all that. And then Energizer after that. And then we drop the NFT again, because that will be worth like $200,000 by the end. Now, what's interesting to note is that even though I have the money to create even further and get an XXXL trap, I'm not going to do that because that actually kills the ability for me to stall. Because I can't target away the 005 trap, if I did buy it, it would be very hard for me to get 10x stacks on both Mad and the B Central. So sadly, I had to forego just a little bit of money, stay at the tier 4 trap, and thankfully, on my first try, I was able to just barely get 10 stacks on my Mad in time. And now over to tier 3, where we have bought every tier 5 that I need, and now it's just the Paragons, but I can't buy this tier, or this tier, because 400k is a lot of money, and I also won't have a high degree on it if I buy it now, so it's kind of crazy that a 10x Ultra Boost Mad can actually beat tier 3, but it indeed does, and let me show you. Spawn it in. Let's use our Preemptive Strike immediately. Use the Mad now. It's as you see, it's probably better to use it when it's closer in range, but my thinking is that with the Ultra Boost, it'll come up again by the time Vortex is close to Mad. Okay, so that was actually a prime opportunity to use Regen Potion this round, because this is a good time to have the Mad ability up. It's right next to it, so I can chain it back to back to get an insane amount of damage in. A good half a skull. Might as well use the Reges while I have it, and plus, Geraldo will be level 20 soon, so during this tier kill, I'll also get a refresh of two extra Regen Potions for even more Mad abilities. We should be able to get the skull here before it stuns our preemptive strike. Don't stun, don't stun. If it does, not the end of the world. Okay, good. And perfect. Mad ability back up, and look how close Vortex is. This is looking good. Alright, next ability up. This is going to be a big waste, because there's going to be a shield for like 5 seconds, but whatever. I wonder if I should use my Regen Potion. You know what? Let's use a Regen Potion now. It's pretty close here. Stack here. This again. But ideally, we try to keep Vortex in the middle here, or close to it as long as possible. This next knockback is going to come in a real clutch. Yeah, perfect. Just in time for our Mad ability. Literally hitting everything. That is satisfying as hell. Another skull now. A Rejuve? Or Fertilizer? Perfect. It's also close again for this next ability. All planned. All planned. Yep. Geraldo's gonna get level 20 next round, so I even have one extra Rejuve I could use, but yeah, let's use it. Ability now. Rejuve before. Geraldo gets stunned here. Cool. And there's two Rejuves back again. There's gonna be a lot of leeway. Once Geraldo gets unstunned, I should start dropping them Paragon Totems. Paragon Totems are needed in order to get a high enough degree on the sub and all of that. Okay, this is actually getting further than I'd like. That's because I'm waiting for the Mad ability. I should use my Rejuve now. Cool. Next stack on the farm. I think I'll blow all of them. Use this. Refresh again. Stun. Another Ultra Boost in this. And then chain another Mad ability. And there's tier 3. Beautifully done. I think I forgot to, or rather, it was hard to keep track of what's the next Ultra Boost, like going back and forth while microing. I think I missed one cycle of Banana Central, but I think it's fine. I can absolutely take this. Now, I didn't do the exact math, but I'm pretty sure I need approximately 11 Paragon Totems for a degree 40 on my Nautica Siege Core starting tier 4. Or actually, it doesn't have to be at the start of tier 4. Just like the Mad I did on tier 2, I could wait a couple rounds if the money's not there. Additionally, since I'm able to Ultra Boost or keep full uptime on Ultra Boost on 2 things, I'm also just going to throw some stacks in the Sentry Champion. Might squeeze out some more pops on it. So let's see if I can get it to start tier 4 here. 13 totems, no Cash Flighter, gets me... Oh, that's close. So that probably means I just need to get 1 extra totem or maybe some more pops. I'll just do 1 totem. Alright, so number 14, blast off. Here we go. Degree 40, just like I planned it. It would be nice if I was able to squeeze out some more pops on my Sentry Champion, like from it not getting stunned, but I think it's fine. Even though it looks really bad, because I think the way Vortex currently is, it's gonna perma-stun my Sentry Champion pretty much. Goodbye all those mini sentries. Well, let's hope that the XXXL trap money can give us degree 40 NG. I guess what I could do if I want the Sentry Champion to start attacking again is simply just submerge this guy. Yeah. Just keep waiting until the last possible second to stun it. I'm not sure that really matters, though. Oh, and also, today I learned that the preemptive strike disappears when you submerge the tower. Okay, big consequence of waiting too long, though, is that it starts stunning Geraldo, which is worse. Because I kind of need to use his Paragon Totems, don't I? And also Fertilizer. My bad. Several mistakes tier 4 here, but thankfully I think there's enough leeway that I can get away with this. Well, let's hope winging this tier, it doesn't come back to hurt me in the end. Because if it does, then I'll just go back to tier 4 and play it better. But I should still be able to, despite like how awful this was, still get D40 NG by tier 5. To make up for that, I'm also going to squeeze out damage here by, once again, just like while Vortex was active, submerge this guy. Let Engineer do as much damage to these balloons as possible. We'll even throw in everyone's favorite Jerry Fire, I guess. So 14 totems, just like the sub Paragon. Sell both of these now. By the way, I have to get it 1 round early so that I can spawn 3 sentries out. We'll use max cash lighter because why not? And let's see. D what? 56. Okay, that's more than enough. Holy crap. In sandbox testing, or in testing, I did degree 40 and it worked. So given how overkill this is, we should be good. I sure hope so. Let's power glove this guy. Take it off Submerge. I am not going to use the reactor explosion just yet. This NG placement also prevents it from getting stunned, as long as I don't pop Vortex too quickly at the start. So let's go. I guess we'll throw the Mad in too, but I don't really care about microing it too much. It does minimal damage at this point. But let's make sure that every sentry explosion hits, because it's like decent chunk of damage. Although I don't think we have to be perfect, thankfully. And if this 53 tier score holds, I think I'm gonna take it. It's hard pressed for me to think of anything like lower than this, because 2 Paragons are already, even if you don't cross path, is 38 tiers. Cap the hero 39. So you also need a farming tower, so add like at least 6 tiers on that. And can you see why that? I feel like 53 should be on the lower end. I wouldn't be surprised if somebody got lower than this, but yeah, I'd be curious to see what they did. Because the way I currently see it, I am not sure what could get lower than this. And also, when the skull hits, I think I'll use the explosion now. Because this thing can't attack anyway, like through the shield for 6 seconds, so this is a little bit more efficient. This should do a big chunk in. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Spawning that green gunk. Now, unfortunately, the gunk disappears because Vortex deletes all road items, so that's a bit of a waste. And also, this turret isn't in range, so it's a little bit inefficient, explosion-wise. But we can explode it again now. Like, even though this was incredibly overkill, how can I cut a tier? I don't think I can cut the Banana Central Cross Path, because as you saw, the issue was mostly tier 2. Being able to barely afford Banana Central, so if I only go for a 4-0-0 banana farm instead of 4-2-0, I don't think this would work. And I definitely can't cut Mad, so if I want to go below 53, I feel like I'd have to come up with a completely new strategy. But I don't think I will. And also, in case you're wondering, the amount of time it took to finish off this strategy is less than it took for week 2, the timed hedge event, and week 3, the event where I got 2nd place. So I'm happy with that. More time touching grass and less time theory crafting, bossing, and BTD is always good for the soul. And yep, there's tier 5. 53 tiers. Again, if there's a tiebreaker, that might be important. Let's see what the time was. 27 minutes, 7 seconds. Alright, not bad. If I were to cut down the time for the tiebreaker, which I don't think I will, I think I could probably save a little bit of time on maybe tier 4. Because I bought the sub Paragon a little bit late and I submerged it, thinking maybe I could squeeze out engineer pops, but that wasn't necessary in the end. Also kidding, I did end up cutting time in the end because that was the only extra optimization I could make. So that involves getting the sub 1 round earlier on round 101, and that's perfect timing. That actually makes it so that every single Vortex stun is completely out of range of every tower, including the Sentry Champion, so we can continue to farm pops on that too, while not stunning Geraldo like last time and being able to drop extra Paragon totems for the Engineer. I ended up cutting 35 seconds on the tier 4 kill, and also, I got rid of 1 extra minute of penalty that I incurred between tier 4 and 5. We have to sell the Mad in order to do so, but in adding extra totems and optimizing pops, we are actually also able to get a degree 60 Engineer, making tier 5 even extra overkill and being able to shave more time off of that. So that 35 second tier 4 save, added with 1 minute of time penalty save, added with the time saved here, gets us the following time. It's kind of annoying that you can't see the timer in boss challenge, only the tier amount, that the score you set it to. But after that victory screen shows up, we are now sitting at a tiebreaker score of 25 minutes instead of 27. We'll see if that 2 minutes ends up making a difference. Well, it didn't make a difference in terms of the top 3, because these are the top 3 scores. High Trek coming in number 1 with 44 tiers, Lendoli in my group 47, and then Rubik's Cuber at 49. All of these scores used 1 Paragon. So that's what the difference ended up being. I had an inkling one Paragon could work, but I already went too deep with my 2 Paragon strategy. And the 1 Paragon for number 1 was the Wizard, which I definitely didn't want to try because avoiding stun sounded really, really annoying, and I think it ended up being really close at the end. High-Trick just barely edged out Vortex here with a degree 52 Wizard Paragon, getting it on tier 4 and then having it barely work for the ending of tier 5. Well done to him. Lendoli in second also did Wizard Paragon, but number 3 did Engineer Paragon. Apparently that works, however, you also have to avoid stuns pretty well with Engineer in a very specific spot, and then changing the sentry time so that the Engineer never gets done. And he also, I believe, needed degree 65 in order for it to work. That is what Mahalik did as well in his unofficial 46. But despite personally not making top 3 or first in my group overall, I still ended up picking a respectable 4 points in this round, finishing in third in my group, 1 tier less than Jandalf, who did the same strategy but changed the cross-pathing. So if you take a look at my group after 4 rounds, it's a pretty close battle for the top 3 spots. This clinches me actually into the playoffs because I can't fall below 4th place, so that's cool. Hope you're all excited for that, and in case you're wondering, the shaving of 2 minutes didn't change my points or placement in the group. However, it did put me above 1 person in the overall leaderboard for the round, which I believe I finished in 8th place, so this is where I now placed in every single round so far. That does it for my recap of week 4. Thank you all for watching. If you missed any of the previous weeks, I recommend you highly check it out here. I definitely butchered that sentence, but you get the point. See you next time.